You listening to Precept on Precept. Captain Shim break it down to no meat left. Line upon line in the word make you respect. History collegiate when we teach it, brains reset. You listening to Precept on Precept. Captain Shim break it down to no meat left. Line upon line, the word make you respect. History collegiate when we teach it, brains reset. Putting in the work for the Most High.
Israel united in Christ. We are not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a non-violent, Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threat, as stated in Leviticus chapter 5, verse 1.
Hey, shalom, shalom, Israel. Welcome to another edition of Precept Upon Precept. It's Thursday night. It's the tough act to follow with FCN. Shout out to the Miami Captains. We are your hosts. I'm Captain Shem.
Officer Matthew.
Officer Mikael.
Officer Micah.
All right, so today's show, real quick lick to start off with the meme. The graphic that our team, led by Officer Mikael, put together. So a picture's worth 1,000 words. So when you look at, it says, our lives have no value to our enemies. And we're going to prove to you tonight with video, articles, and the scriptures that our lives have no value to our enemies. And if you look at the meme in the front, you see a couple of stellar-looking business class Edomites. One guy's laughing probably all the way to the bank in the right corner. And then in the back, you have a young brother, probably in his late 20s, early 30s, with a sign that says, "Free me," and another brother who is probably a working class man that says, "Down at the bottom, any help, please." That's not a bum. That's a working class man. Then it looks like another brother with his hands folded. Right, Mickey? Yeah, that's a Spanish brother. That's a Judah brother. In the middle. Probably one of the 12 tribes. The brother's got his head down and his hands clenched. So tonight we are going to show you unequivocally that this, get a good look at this graphic because this is 100. And look at the background. When you look at the background, I just noticed that it looks like an alley, one of the ghettos where you're going to find our people. You see writing with spray paint on the walls. It looks like a New York, looks like a Bronx neighborhood, to tell you the truth. But that goes to show you, that's a powerful picture right there. So with that, we're going to open up with, first I want Deuteronomy 28. Watchmen report, yes. With that, Officer Micah, take us away. Watchmen report. All praise the Lord.
Hey, shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ bless. It's good to be back. All praise to the Most High. We got a few articles. If you could please post articles, please. Ukraine. Reported communications of Russian commander. So still some things going on in Ukraine. The release of purported communications of Russian commander. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Next article, please. The world may dodge another recession, but risks are growing. So Israel, continue to prepare. Continue to make sure your storehouses are stacked, and continue that you make sure you have the things you need at home. Next article, please. Woman pled guilty to hate crime after wrongly accusing black teen of stealing cell phone. So she finally, I don't know if y'all heard about this, about a couple of years back. Now she's pleading guilty to a misdemeanor. So false accused, got the brother hurt, but she pleading guilty. Next article, please. Latest, U.S. weapons assistant arrives in Ukraine. So we covered this a week ago about the 800 million that they gave to the Ukrainians over there. So now those weapons have finally made it. All right, next article. Okay, Russia tests nuclear-capable missile that Putin says will give its enemies pause. So he said, look, I'm testing to pause these jokers. So that should be the last article, and that concludes the Watchmen report.
All right, shalom, shalom, all praises. And that's that Watchmen report, because we all have to be watchmen. We have to watch what's going on. And y'all go back if you get a chance and look into those topics that Officer Micah brings forth, because they're meant for us to be aware of what's going on. We have to watch and pray. Look at what's going on around you. So tonight's class, like the meme stated, is that basically our enemies, our lives mean nothing to them. So I want to open up with a scripture. Get me Deuteronomy chapter 28. This just came to me. I didn't even have this written down, but Deuteronomy chapter 28, and I want you to go to verse 50, because then we're going to go to a video. A lot of you have seen it. There's an 8-year-old young man, young African-American boy that was actually put in police cruiser. And I'm not even going to show what you think I'm going to show tonight, because, listen, that don't surprise me. But I'm going to show you that I want you to look at something different, a different perspective of what we're going to bring out. So read that scripture.
Yes, sir. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance.
So it says a nation of fierce countenance. Why? Because they arrest children. By law, you have to be 12 years old before you can be arrested and prosecuted. But you can show me. I want you to show me the number of actual scenarios where that happened to a Caucasian child. Show me the proof that it happened to an Asian American child. And you're going to find there's so few and far between. These laws were made for black children. They were made for Hispanic, primarily American black children. All right, read on.
Which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
Nor show favor to the young. Real quick, we were talking about this earlier, Officer Matthew and I. Do me a favor, get me the Mike Tyson video. Because, real quick, this scripture goes with that. Mike Tyson, although he is a strong man, right? Y'all see him on the plane smacking the butt. Mike Tyson, and do me a favor, Google, I think Tyson lives in either California or Texas. Find out where Mike Tyson lives. This just came to me real quick. Because when you're 55 years old, Mike Tyson, I believe, is a senior citizen. So Mike Tyson was on a plane, and there was a young Caucasian, rambunctious, delinquent Edomite heckling and harassing him, a senior citizen. Mike reacted in typical Mike Tyson. But if we could show this, because what they do is they just want you to see when Mike's reaction, but they don't show you the things leading up to it. And if you can, in the backdrop, Mike Tyson, where he resides, what state, and then what is the law for the age of a senior citizen? Please. Nevada. Look up what is the age of senior citizen in the state of Nevada. This just came to me. Read that scripture again, please, Officer Micah.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the persons of the old, nor show favor to the young.
Now, you know Mike Tyson is an old man, okay? A 55-year-old man. What do you have as a 28-year-old? Why are you bothering a man that's way, way old enough to be your father? Why are you giving this man a hard time? Because that's the way Esau is. All right? Go ahead. So, all right, so now let's pause real quick. So Mike is the type of brother where he entertains. Matter of fact, a dude came up and pulled a strap on him in a club. Mike talked him down and gave him a hug. Diffused the whole situation. Mike Tyson is one of the, he had a tough, he's one of the nicest men you're going to meet. Now, I never met him, but countless times he does things for charities. So here's a drunk, young, probably 20-something Edomite that is talking to Mike. Mike's playing it off, but then he continues he actually starts to harass Mike Tyson. Okay, there's different accounts and different videos. Play on.
This is George talking to Mike Tyson, bro. This shit crazy, bro. Mike Tyson.
Now, pause real quick. Now, when you're on a flight attendant, and they all know who Mike Tyson is, they should, I'm going to show you how the white men don't care. They should know Mike Tyson is a celebrity on our flight. And people, when celebrities on a flight, you have to kind of provide extra protection and awareness of him being. For example, when Jay-Z, about 20 years ago, 15 years, Jay-Z came into the casino where I was working at, and they brought us all aside. They said, listen, when he comes to your table, don't look him in, just be very polite. Don't talk about how you like his music, nothing. So when he came to the table, I had to say, good evening, Mr. Carter, how are you? That's it, right? They train you on these things, and the flight industry is customer service. That's the industry. So Mike Tyson is a senior citizen being harassed on a plane, and he's playing it off. Play on.
Got lit, man. He over here rapping with Tyson.
So the
Mike
man
Tyson
videoing
trying to give us some
saying,
shrooms.
oh, he over here lit, man. Pause it. He said he's over here lit, man, raveling or something. What he said?
Rapping.
Rap. What that mean? Is
Rapping. No,
So,
rapping.
rap. Okay, got you.
No, like
rapping.
the white boy was trying to rap to Mike Tyson. He had threw something at him earlier, and then the black dude started recording. He said he just threw something at Mike Tyson. This stuff is crazy. He over there trying to rap with Mike Tyson.
So he threw something at Mike Tyson, and that's multiple accounts said that. Play on, and you're gonna see there's different videos. Go ahead.
Mike Tyson trying to give us some shrooms. You don't know how to act. Tyson looking out, man. This shit crazy. He should have never gave you niggas money.
Okay. So my point is, this man is drinking. He's not in his right mind. He's obviously trying to agitate and get Mike Tyson to bite. Why? Because Esau knows if I can get him to do something, that's in his back of him. This dude is probably going to get paid. Now, here's my point. It goes back to the scripture. Mike Tyson, what is the age of a senior citizen in Nevada?
On camp.
Is it 62? Well, some states it's 50. Maybe it's the senior citizen discounts, 55. All right. For which one? The little boy? Okay, let's play the video. It's 60. So he's not a senior citizen in Nevada, but he does get the ARP discount at 55. So that's when you begin to be an older man. Go ahead. Okay, so pause real quick. So this is the end result, and what you're going to see is this is the video that they're going to show to the American public. Big black man, and they paint it like that. But the reality is this other videos show him being heckled, being harassed by a much younger, rude, drunk man. And reports that he had something thrown at him. He's a 55-year-old man. So the point is, these nations don't regard. That's somebody's father. He's clearly an older man. And it's just ridiculous.
Hey, Cap, and due to the airlines, right? Airlines have a strict no-tolerance policy for harassment. The fact that the airline let that go on for so long is on them. They let that go on for a long time. They should have been cut that like, sir, then you escort him off the plane. He's heckling Mike Tyson. Okay, this dude is a retired boxer. He allegedly threw something at Mike Tyson. He's being belligerent. He's obviously drunk. This guy needs to be escorted. You can find another flight. I've seen that happen plenty of times personally.
Hey, officer, that's business class. That's not, he's flying business class. That's not the economy class. He's flying in first class.
And do me, point that out to him, because I thought, honestly, it was coach. But I think, is it bigger seats off somebody?
Yes, sir. That's business. Those are bigger seats. That's business class.
So we have, now this guy, to fly in business class, that means that Edomite got a little bit of bread too. So they pay more. They bring the hot towels to them. They get the better food, right? So they're also supposed to pay more attention to things like Officer Matthew's saying.
That's correct.
My point is, this guy is clearly in his late 20s, young guy. Mike Tyson is clearly approaching the age of a senior citizen. The point is, because Mike Tyson is a black man, he doesn't get the same rights as a white person.
Yep.
He doesn't get the same right. If that was a 55-year-old white man, let's flip it. A 55-year-old white man who's known in society, right? And a 20-something-year-old black boy was doing the same, man was doing the same thing, 20, 30. They would have kicked his ass, to your point, Officer, was it Matthew? He would have been, sir, next time you're out of here. Because he's white, everything is this. Everything is okay, and he gets chance after chance after. because our lives mean nothing to our enemies. And that's just the bottom. So that just came to me about Mike Tyson. Now, one more time on that scripture.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
And all of that being said, they're going to show you the image of Mike Tyson slapping an innocent white man. That's the vision they're going to give you. Mike Tyson has done so much philanthropical, I said that right?
Yeah.
A lot of donations he's made to charities. Mike Tyson does a lot for the community. And yes, he had some things that happened to him decades ago, but they'll never live that down. But then you can have a white boy that does a young white man that does all these things, and watch what's going to happen. They're going to try to sue Mike Tyson. He's going to have a book that he'll be able to write. The popular persuasion of the United States of America will look at him and take his side before they'll take Mike. So I pray that the Lord, they got some video evidence and and Mike could somehow come out on top from this evil young man who's a drunkard and harassing this older man. You know, it's ridiculous.
He'd have never done that to Elon Musk.
Nope.
Go up, say that again.
Elon Musk, what, 50 years old? You think that devil would have been up there? Hey, Elon. He'd have never done that with Elon Musk. Never.
Right. Let's go ahead and play that video. So now we're going to show you. There's y'all have probably all seen it. There's a video of a 8-year-old boy, or maybe he's 9 years old, and it's all over YouTube. It's all over the news, ABC, USA Today, of a young African-American boy being detained by police for a theft, apparently of a bag of some type of potato chip or Dorito. Let's go ahead and play that. And I want you to see something that I saw that they want you to see something else. Play that.
So y'all treat me like a whole cold-blooded killer?
So when it goes back to this, you will not regard the person as the young or old, because I want you to imagine that this was an 8-year-old Caucasian child. So 8-year-old is 5th grade is kindergarten, 1st grade is 6th, 3rd grade white child. I want us to just try to imagine this in any shape or form happening to a good, precious white little child.
Hey, Cap, let's use the words that the news media used. A little blonde-haired, blue-eyed child that lives in the suburbs. He doesn't live in the projects.
Right.
Lives in the suburbs.
Right. He's from a first-rate country. And this is how you know that we are the cursed people. Let's go ahead and play that when y'all get it ready.
Keep walking, dude. You don't even know what you're talking about. Keep walking. I know what I just came up and see. I know the just came up and see. Okay, what did you see? I see y'all snatching him up a bike like you're man.
So he is not in handcuffs. I thought he was in handcuffs. He wasn't in handcuffs. He was being detained by police. And here's the two things.
What is y'all talking about, man?
That's against the law.
What is y'all doing?
You cannot put that.
What is y'all doing? Take the chips. If he stole some chips, I'll pay for them. I'll pay for them. You don't even know where he lives. Y'all just throwing him in the car.
That's what they do. They come here.
Y'all do it. Leave him alone.
No camera. That's all we can do.
He a kid.
Okay, so now the point that what I want us to look at is this. The imagery, they wanted that to get out. And actually, as a matter of fact, they dramatized it, and it actually, two of the other kids were actually brought home in a police cruiser, and they brought one to the parents. They never got charges pressed on them. They never got actually arrested. They were detained for theft, but they put that image up there because the image of that going up there was done, it met its mark. It was for all of white America to see, look at these little black kids stealing. See how bad they are? If that was let's say that did happen to a white child, they would have never let that video get out because they understood that how it would psychologically affect that child in the rest of his life. But with a black child, they'll put that out there. Now, And you brothers, please chime in as you feel, all right? The one thing that I saw is I want to flip it. I want us to really, let's all close our eyes. Everybody at home, close your eyes. Close your eyes, because I'm going to show you that we still got white Jesus in our mind. Everybody close their eyes real quick. I want you to imagine that the police officers were two police officers. One was a black, muscular, dark-skinned man, like the white man, and the other was a short, black man, dark-skinned black man. And I want you to imagine, just try to take the guard down for a sec, and imagine that's an 8-year-old, precious white child with green eyes, and blonde flowing hair, right? I want you to imagine that situation. And I want you to imagine how many people would be putting a petition for those two black cops to be fired.
Hey, Cap.
I want you to, because that's all I could think about when I was watching this.
Not only would they get a petition to get those officers fired, arrested, and sued by the family for psychological abuse.
Yep.
The kid, the 8-year-old, would have had his college paid for.
That's it.
He would have had a job at the congressional office when he made 18.
Been on USA Today the next day with freaking Whoopi Goldberg, a black woman caressing this dude.
Yep.
Probably be the next president of the United States.
Yep. Or the Surgeon General.
Oh yeah.
Or the Surgeon General. He probably the next district attorney of whatever state that was.
Y'all got to see, this is how we know we're destroyed, because let's read the scripture again, verse 50. Because it's not so much, okay, let's say that the kid did steal the chips. That's okay, it's wrong. It's wrong. But for those cops to do that, to the point where you got innocent, well, let's just say bystanders that are saying these things, because obviously it affected them psychologically. That was one of the men that was speaking was a black man. You could clearly tell, and it was affecting him emotionally to the point where he's imagining himself, that's me, and that's me being in that car. The fact that it got out 5.3 million views and it's all over the internet, it shows that these little black kids are, I'm saying what the white media wants you to, they're monsters, in that the white liberal media tries to make it seem like it's police to fund the police and all that. But the reality is it met its mark. Nothing's going to happen to these white cops. The black kid, he's going to be traumatized for whatever way, and he was wrong to steal if he did steal. But the point is that at the end of the day, it's business as usual. If you flip it, if it was two black men and a white cop, not only would they probably get death threats, they're probably going to be put in administrative leave. Like everything you just said is perfectly on point. But the fact is, it's hard for us to imagine that happening. Number one, the black men would never do that. They would be like, yo, you know who the hell we are? If we do that, you know what's going to, them white cops didn't give a damn. It's a black kid. What's going to happen to me? So what? Who cares? And that's why it shows that they do not value our lives. No matter which way you look at it, there's different videos and different. The bottom line is this would never happen to any other race except for Israelite.
It's dehumanizing. If we can look at an 8-year-old kid, whether they took him to jail or whether they didn't, we can look at an 8-year-old black kid get treated like that, and it goes viral like that. The next 8-year-old black kid is going to get even less sympathy from the general public. Right. And then the next one after that, even less. That's until right. We're no longer human, and anybody that is black that does any type of crime, they're going to get the utmost sentencing. You're going to get the most violent type of arrest. Anything that you can possibly imagine that can go wrong will go wrong with your case, all of that stuff. They're going to throw the book, the police car, the badge, and the gun at you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Officer, real quick. The cops, like we talk to the cops out here all the time. They say they respond to the crimes based on how serious they are in nature. I'm not justifying what that
right.
Thou shalt not steal. But it's times we call the police here like, hey, man, we heard gunshots. They don't show up. So you mean to tell me it takes two probably highly trained police officers for an 8-year-old? I guarantee wherever that city like it's some shooting going on right now. So you mean to tell me it takes these two burly Edomites to show up to detain an 8-year-old?
And there's a direct correlation between third grade reading levels in the prison to school to prison pipeline. As I used to work in the school systems, and I could tell you that if children are not have understood their reading comprehension by the 3rd grade, it's pretty much that's when you start to see the data will show that they drop out of school before high school, and if they do graduate, it is they can't even read at a 3rd grade reading level. They design newspapers for, I believe it's a 3rd or 4th grade reading level. I think the New York Times might be a 5th or 6th grade reading level. It's a design.
And legal documents are made for a high school reading level. Like legal documents that you get from lawyers, they be like, man, I can't understand this stuff. That's supposed to be high school reading level right there.
And so
like 8th or 9th grade.
Yeah.
It's a direct link. Now, and we're going to prove it later on with hard data that black men are, as adults, incarcerated at a far higher percentage, and it's back with data. So the things we're showing you is obviously the media takes it out of bounds and tries to sensationalize it, as they do with, for example, the whole thing with defund the police with that George Floyd, which is tragic what happened to our brother George Floyd. But as a result of what happened to defund the police, many, many, many more black men have died because there's been less police presence out there in the streets. And that also that's a whole nother show.
Yeah, New Orleans itself, the city that we live in, is short 1,100 police officers. That's how many police officers they say that they're in need of in order to just maintain. They're short 1,100 police officers.
Right. I think, Officer Matt, you have some, or was it Mikael, one of you brothers, the next one there was a boy that was killed for running away.
Yeah.
And that was in Baltimore. That is a horrible, that's like Philly and Baltimore, one of the most horrible places in this country.
Number 2 and number 3. I'm going to show you the opposition. So number 2 is going to show a little boy who was not a little boy. He was a teenager. All right, he was a teenager. He was a young man. Let's read that article.
Yes, sir. Baltimore police give conflicting accounts after killing Donnell Rochester.
They give conflicting accounts. All right, I'm gonna put it in layman's terms. Police was found lying. Their stories didn't match up. Like Daniel and Susanna, somebody lying.
This ain't new for Baltimore. Remember Freddie Gray?
Yep.
Wasn't that where the dude was throwing the dope on the guy? Like the dummy forgot to turn his body camera off. He was throwing the dope on the dude. It's like, nah, I didn't do that. Look at the camera. It was showing him put the dope on him.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
That was it.
Boy, Lord help us.
Go back to the article.
The officer pumped bullets into the car the black teenager was driving and then handcuffed him after he was mortally wounded.
That's what they always do. You always see them shoot us up and then put handcuffs on us and say, stop resisting. The body is going into cardiac arrest, shock, dying, and y'all are just arresting him like, the bullets didn't mortally wound him. Read on.
On February 19th, Baltimore police officers shot and killed 18-year-old Donnell Rochester. The teenager was fleeing a traffic stop related to a search warrant for his failure to appear in court for a carjacking charge.
Now, understand this. He had a carjacking charge. If he was guilty, guess what? We already know what this is. But this is the purpose of this show, to show our people what you do, there's a higher punishment for it.
That's right.
So stop doing it. We see this all the time about these dudes want to be real Negroes and they want to be bowed and all these gangsters. That stuff is dead, bruh.
Mm-hmm.
Gangsters is dead or in jail. 2 places people regret being. When you behind bars, you praying that the Lord somehow overturned it for you. Lord, if you get me out of this one, I'll never do it again. Lord, I can't. Man, I should have never did this. You always got to regret when you behind bars. But when y'all here in the street, y'all glorifying the wickedness of our people as if it's something to do. And then when we get caught up in the legal system,
right,
this is what happens. He's fleeing a traffic stop. He had a warrant out for his arrest. Now, mind you, the warrant is just what it is. It comes up when your name gets ran, you get arrested, you go to jail for whatever charge is underneath that warrant.
That's right.
But watch what happens.
Officers pumped bullets into the car as Rochester drove away and then handcuffed him after he was mortally wounded.
Read.
Maryland's Attorney General's office identified 2 officers involved in the shooting as Connor Murray and Robert Murray. Both are on administrative leave pending further investigations.
Now watch this.
Administrative leave pending further investigation.
Oh, can we go back up?
What further investigation do they have?
Because you gotta see. I'm telling you,
Because
it ain't cut and dry. Go ahead.
officer, when it says like they just hold on, it says where was it at?
Officers pump bullets
Officers
into the
pumped
car?
bullets into the car, so they didn't even know who the hell was in the car. Let's say it was Officer Mikael driving, you driving. They said they just shot the car. They didn't identify the dude. They just ran the plate and just shot the car.
Watch. I'm telling you. Read on. Watch this.
Maryland's Attorney General's office.
No. Next paragraph.
Okay.
There you go. Right there. Body cam.
Body camera footage shows officers running at Rochester with their guns drawn while the teenager is still in the vehicle. When the car slowly moves forward, officers fired multiple shots at it.
Now, let's do what Cap said. Use your imagination here. You're at a traffic stop. And we all know Baltimore has a lot of hills. If you park the car and you let your foot off the brake, initially the car rocks forward. What happens? They ran his name, ran at him with guns already drawn. And when they saw that the brake lights went out and the car rolled forward, they lit him up. They didn't give no opportunity for him to do anything, to get out the car, unbuckle the seatbelt, nothing. The car rocks forward and they unload clips into him. Go ahead.
While the car slowly moves forward, officers fire multiple shots at it. Rochester was unarmed. The police department released body camera footage in March that doesn't show the car striking any officers at Rochester's drive. Any officer as Rochester drives away. Though Murray who was near the car does fall down as he's running and firing his weapon.
So he's an uncoordinated policeman, and he can't fire a weapon. And he lied and said that he was struck by the car, but the body camera footage proves that it was him not being hit by the car.
Right. So one officer says he tried to hit me with the car. The other officer says he was trying to drive away. He was fleeing, but he wasn't. He wasn't fleeing at all. And the body cam footage showed the car didn't even move anymore. Now, if he was fleeing and they pumped bullets into the car, wouldn't the car have driven off?
Right.
I mean, the car would have gone, but it didn't go nowhere because it was in park.
He didn't even see them shooters coming.
No, he didn't.
He didn't even know he was going to get shot.
See, what happens with white Caucasian with officers is when they associate black, they have a fear of black men. And when they hear carjacking, they assume that already he's guilty before proven innocent. They just say carjacking black, he might try to kill us. We're going to get him before he gets us. And they have this, and it goes back to the slave catchers back in the day. That's what the police was, the initial police force was set up to. There was a slave force before they were the police force to regulate and capture slaves. And they have the same mentality today, the same exact mentality. That's why we stuck in prison.
Now, we see this article, right? So, I mean, it must be understood, right, Cap, that, I mean, if you're in a vehicle and you're fleeing police or you have any sort of, you're posing any sort of threat to the police, that, I mean, this should be the outcome every single time, right? I mean, shouldn't that be? Shouldn't it be if you're driving in a vehicle and the vehicle is either fleeing police or attempting to strike police, that the police have, the right of way to shoot shots into your vehicle, right? Can we go to the next article, please? And give me Amos 3:1. Video, next, number 3. Y'all know my speech. Hold on, don't play it. Don't play it. Go ahead, Amos 3:1.
The book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth.
God said, only us does he know. He only knows us out of all of the families of the earth. We're a big family. And yeah, we got some misfit little cousins. But guess what? Only us is the Lord who he knows. Go ahead.
Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
That's why he punishes us for our iniquities. And Esau knows this. That's why they go above and beyond with everything that they do. Now, we just saw a young black man get murdered by the police, and they said he was fleeing, but stories was contradicting. You know, somebody was lying. Let's see dash cam and body cam footage of this particular incident. So this is a police car. Why you got it on me? Rewind it, man.
Stop! Stop!
I think the car struck the police officer. I think that I'm just a dumb Negro. It looked like the police car was struck by that car. And they continue to chase it. He did fire 2 shots at it, probably because he had no idea who was in the car. All right. Now, remember, the car just struck the police officer.
Right. So in this case, we got proof that it's not a question of whether it might have struck the man. It struck the man.
Yeah.
And now, so basically, we should see them open up rounds
right now.
Right. Because now we got proof.
Yeah. And they're at the car that struck the police officer that we saw on camera. Go ahead.
Do not move your hands. Ma'am.
Ma'am.
Do not move.
Oh, that's Becky.
Ma'am.
Ma'am, do not move.
Miss Ann.
Said ma'am.
Put your hands on top of your head. Do not move.
And she gets out and she's joyous.
Wow.
She's waving her hands. She's smiling. She's happy-go-lucky. She's alive.
She just ran down a police car. Ran a police officer.
And guess what?
How he changes his voice. He said, "Are you the only one in there?" Because he sees now it's a real person with real feelings.
Yep.
It's somebody that we value and respect. I let my guard down now. Everything's okay. She probably just had a little bit too much to drink.
Hey, Cap, they put their guns away.
They put their guns away.
They put their guns away.
Wow.
And she's cursing him out with a smile on her face.
Come on now. Are you the only one in there? Can't see the other hand. You are?
What he wanted to say, are there any niggers in the car?
Taser, taser, taser!
So they hit her with a taser.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me the police, they know how to differentiate
Yeah,
between
did you
a
see him?
taser
Did you see the camera go down
and
a little
the
bit?
pistol?
He put his gun up,
Okay,
and then grabbed the taser,
The
and
other
then
one.
tased her.
'Cause then the
After she ran into him
Right.
with a vehicle.
So and here's the point. They did not know that she was unarmed until they followed police protocol to determine, okay, she's not armed. Therefore, as a result, we can tase her with non-lethal force.
Yep.
So it shows you that with a black man who is a child, 18 years old, well, legally an adult, she's clearly at least close to 30 or something years old. But they would not even take that step to determine if the black man was unarmed.
Correct.
It just shows you that you have enemies, Israel, and they don't love you. They don't love you at all. They don't care about your life. Your life means nothing. That woman, if she was a black woman, would have been shot, at least several rounds dumped. If it was a black man, you could forget about it.
Yep.
You could forget about it. He wouldn't be breathing. It's amazing. Carry on.
Look at the difference of treatment. Look at the difference of treatment. She is a vehicular assault, attempted vehicular manslaughter. Okay? She ran into a police cruiser with her Infinity truck.
Yep.
It's on camera. The police officers called her ma'am, asked if anyone else was in the car. She raised her hands through the roof,
Partying.
cursing them out,
Girls gone wild.
and she gets tased, and probably got put on probation.
Oh yeah. She gonna plead insanity. They gonna bake her actor, and she'll be out in a couple days.
They probably took her to McDonald's too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They probably.
Oh, no, Burger King. That's what.
Damn. She's
Burger King.
dehydrated. But the sister in Washington who had the mental disorder, they pumped her car full of bullets.
Yep.
Yep.
And she was clinically
Yeah.
something was wrong with her mentally.
Oh, yeah.
Clinically,
She had a
on
kid in
paper.
the car. They shot her. They didn't give a damn. Shot her up.
Yep.
So that's some heavy. Y'all gotta really meditate on what we just took a look at, and you just gotta imagine if that woman that had hit that police cruiser, the policeman, and then subsequently the car, if it had been a black man, he'd have been dead. A black woman, at least shot at, probably maimed, if not killed. A white woman, instantly their level of comfort, they trusted right away. She's white, I don't got to kill her. Let me just get her. And if you get hit with it, okay, taser might knock you out, but you're not going to die. Okay? And they knew exactly what to do. They said, we got to follow. This is one of us. We got to follow the rules. And this is why we keep claiming no justice, no peace, and we keep dying. And that's why Officer Matthew read Amos chapter 3, because it's funny you read that, because I was about to pull that. I had it right here.
All praise to the Lord.
So we are being punished because we are the people of God. Now get me Romans chapter 13 rather. I'm going to show you something. And as much as this hurts me to say, when Israel is in sin, we do things like the young black man who was 18 years old. I don't know what the brother was doing illegally or not. But when we get scared, oftentimes when we're doing bad things, and I don't think he meant nothing by it, might have made a jittery move or something, could have just done something that was completely innocent, but the Lord is not with us in a lot of times. So when we are doing the right thing, brothers and sisters, we are not to be scared because the Lord is with us. Romans chapter 13, let's start at verse, I'm going to do 3 and we're going to jump back.
Yes, sir. Romans chapter 13 and verse 3. For rulers are not a terror to good works.
A ruler is someone who governs. Black people do not govern law at executive, judicial levels. We might have a judge here and there. We don't write policy, okay? So read it again.
For rulers are not a terror to good works.
We are not the rulers of this society. But if we are doing good works, we're not going to go against these rulers. Read on.
But to the evil.
But to the evil. And a lot of times that you're going to find is a lot of these young brothers who they might not be stealing or carjacking. And he might have been completely free of that. But what a lot of our young brothers are doing, and that's what a lot of us did right here, we dealt with 4 or 5 women at a time, making whores out of the daughters of Israel because it's pop culture for brothers to bet. Well, how many in high school they had bets? How many women you had? And it was considered cool in the norm. If you was shunned if you only had sex with 2 women in high school. You was like, who was you? You like a lame. So a lot of times the Lord will, okay, the Lord will judge our people. Read on.
Will thou then not be afraid of the power?
Because this man, when you read in Proverbs, give me Proverbs 17 and 13. This man is God's sword. This man is set up to do what? To judge us. And that's why we have to keep, that's why the show is hard to talk about. We're showing you videos. We're showing you articles. We're showing you these examples of young, old. We're showing you the disparities that exist amongst black and white people. And we're showing you this is why the commandments are so needed for us. This is our only protection. Psalms 17:13. Psalm 17:13. I want to just show you.
Go ahead. The book of Psalms, chapter 17, verse 13. Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword.
And Esau is the sword of God. And that's why what will happen is if we don't keep these commandments and we're not doing good works, go back to Romans chapter 12, guess what? We are a terror to good works. We are a terror to these rulers. Read it again.
The book of Romans chapter 13 and verse 3. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Will thou then not be afraid of the power?
Because if we are keeping these commandments, the rulers, which are these cops, these sheriffs, we're going to be not nervous. Well, we're going to be nervous to a certain degree, but we're going to keep it calm. Understand, we black in America. Let's make sure we have our stuff in order, our license, 10 and 2 on the steering wheel. Yes, sir. Okay, we're not going to be smoking weed. A lot of brothers are smoking recreational cigarettes or might be drinking and just joyriding, having so-called joyriding. 12 tribes of Israel in repentance, we don't do that. We don't want to give them anything to have power over us. If we're doing good works, we're not going to think like, okay, this guy, yeah, he's a nigga, but he's clean. We got other fish to fry. We got to roll in that spirit, because chances are, I hate to say it, a lot of these brothers that get caught out there doing these things, behind the scenes, roll back the curtains, there's a bunch of evil going on. That's why Amos chapter 3, verse 1, therefore I shall punish you, O house of Israel. Read on.
Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same.
So we have to, praise of who? Praise of the cops. You know what? And that's what at IUIC we have to walk blameless. Yes, we might say these things that go against counterculture, but at the end of the day, when they examine us, what are we doing? We're pushing family structure. We're pushing community cleanups. We are pushing organization and structure. We're pushing youth programs. We're pushing marriages. We're pushing things that are positive in this sight of the rulers of this land. Okay, we have to roll in that spirit. That's very important. Very, very important.
Hey, oh, you got a commercial? All right. Hey, look, Israel, stay tuned, all right? Don't go nowhere, like they used to say back in the day. Don't touch that dial.
That's right.
Back when TVs had dials, all right? We're going to go to a quick commercial break, all right? We're going to pay some bills, a.k.a. show some commercials, all right? Be right back, Israel. Shalom.
Shalom, this is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. I have an important message about your leaders in the Christian church. Your bishops, pastors, reverends, and ministers are all lying to you and leading you straight to damnation. The truth is, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are the biblical Israelites, according to Deuteronomy chapter 28. Jesus Christ is a black man with white wool hair, according to Revelation chapter 1, verses 14 and 15. We as the Israelites must keep the commandments in the faith of Christ to receive salvation, as it is written in Revelation chapter 14, verse 12. I've challenged and debated Christian authorities all over the world on these issues. Not one of them has been able to negate this truth. Your pastors have led you astray, worshiping pagan holidays and false gods, just as in the days of old. So join us on our mission to restore the true nation of Israel before the decree goes forth. The work is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Visit our website at israelunite.org or call us at 855-484-4842 to learn more and visit our schools. Shalom.
Hey there, it's me again. As you know, Mel and I are working on a Passion of the Christ sequel. We're asking that you continue to support us in any way possible. And those of you whom have not yet donated to the Joseph's Dream short film, we want to give you a special thank you. Send those funds over to help us establish our vision. Jesus loves you, and God bless America.
When this life is over and it starts again, I want to hear, well done, welcome, well done, well done, well done. I look to the hills Where my help from? I just wanna hear, welcome, well done. I just wanna hear.
Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. Welcome back. We're just watching a video of our Bishop Nathaniel. And I just want to let y'all know, listen, this is just the beginning. You think he's back, there's so much more great works that are going to come out of IUIC. And we're going to do much bigger and better things. Bishop Nathaniel back in a way. Y'all not ready for what's about to go down these years to come. And that's why they're making videos of the next one to come, to show you that how much they don't value, your enemies don't value your life. I'm going to show you how much that they despise the 12 tribes of Israel. I'm not going to show the video other than, yeah, I like that. Save that right there. What I want to do is, there's a loser cult known as the Apologet. They're loser Caucasian they're a hate cult.
They are a hate group.
They're a hate cult that is a racist regime.
Facts.
That is some of the most non-distasteful men I've ever seen. I'm not going to dignify their video, but I'm going to show a part. I want to look at the title of this. Real quick, I want to tickle. Yeah, that's good for later, Border Patrol. So what I want you to do is, I'm not even going to play the video, but I want to show you how much hatred is going on here. Number one, this racist, I don't forget his name. It's not important. There are two. I believe it might be a light-skinned brother with a hat on, but there are two black people for sure, so-called African Americans, that are sitting in the crowd at the feet of this man who is trying and not successful at all. It's almost if I was a Caucasian, I would be embarrassed for him. But
loser.
Exactly. But if you look at the two, it looks like two brothers. I don't know. You got a man bun. It's a sister or a brother. I don't know. Two black folks. They're sitting at a convention listening to their enemy try to debunk their book to them that identifies them. And I'm going to show you the level of hatred that this man has. And it's all with the title. He says in the upper left, y'all look at the upper left-hand corner. I don't have to go deep with this guy. Destroying the abuse of Deuteronomy 28 forever. So he's saying that that we are abusing who? The white man? He's trying to say that we're abusing our own people by abusing these scriptures. Well, if he's talking about Deuteronomy 28, let's just go to a couple verses. Let's go to verse 32 real quick. And this is how you know this, and this is what, like, and all of his forefathers are the ones that set policy, and whether they be Dutch, German, English, French, Caucasian, whether they be Portuguese, it doesn't matter where they come from.
German,
Caucasian, Netherlands or Scandinavian Caucasian, Norwegian Caucasian, Denmarkian, or whatever, however you say it. It doesn't matter. They're the ones who create and are the prosecutors. They're the ones that are your judges. They're the ones that are your defense attorneys. They're the ones that are sitting in the attorney's room who create laws on the books at the federal, state, and local levels, not our forefathers. So now, let's read verse 32.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 32.
You want to talk about abusing Deuteronomy 28? So we're abusing who with this scripture? Your forefathers have to pay for their crimes. And what's going on? It's eating you up, knowing that you're going to have to pay for these things. And the Bible condemns you. And it just shows you that you are our enemy and you despise our nation. All right? And God's going to judge you. God, the one true God of Israel is going to have his last laugh with you devils. Read.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
So you cannot deny the fact that, and you don't got to watch slave movies like Roots, Django, 12 Years a Slave, Uncle Tom Cabin, the list goes on and on. You don't have to watch that. All you have to do is just go look in the ghettos of America. Look at how many mothers and fathers have to raise children without their spouse. Baby's mother, baby's father. Look at the incarceration rates of black men. Look at the AIDS rates of black women. The curses are all throughout the Bible. But this particular scripture, read it again.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long.
So my question is this. If this did not happen to us, who did it happen to? And if it happened to them, is it still happening to them this day? Because if you use the excuse of the so-called Jewish man, they sitting pretty in society. They own industries. So it's not talking about them. Go to Brooklyn. Go to Waterbury, Connecticut. You'll find that they have whole neighborhoods that they have rejuvenated and done over. They're not the poor. They're not in the ghettos. Okay? Read it again.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
Right, and we were sold to your forefathers, where your forefathers financed the slave trade. And you want to say that the 12 tribes of Israel are abusing Deuteronomy 28? All I got to say is this, is that your day is coming. And when your day comes, you're going to know that you should not have touched God's people. And there's nothing you could do to, matter of fact, by you doing things like this in that video, all you're going to do is bring more people to this truth. So keep running your mouth. You're going to bring more and more people. It's not a threat at all. You, by what you're doing with your hatred and your racist tactics, you will bring more black people to repentance to wake up and know they're Israel. So you're actually hurting your own cause. If you want to really slow it down, just shut your mouth. But because you're running your mouth, what's going to happen is God going to use your dumb sip to say, wait a minute, he's saying that the curses are abusive. Well, let me see this for myself. And the words of the Lord are going to resonate with the 12 tribes of Israel. So thank you for running your mouth. Read it again.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long. And there shall be no might in thine hand.
No might in thy hand. So just to show you, go put that dumb title up again. I'm not going to dignify to play the video. The loser, racist rant that he goes on. And he puts a couple of scriptures about Jesus Christ being black, which if you're an archaeologist, go look at the pre-Madonna paintings. Look at 922 A.D. Look at all the stained glass windows in the eastern part of Europe. There's undeniable historical and archaeological proof. If you don't want the biblical proof, you unworldly historian. Then he goes to Genesis. He tries to do Revelation 13 and 10, Deuteronomy 28, 68. All these different things he tries to do. I know you were about to say something.
Yeah, can we get Acts 5:38? The pathetics, like when Deacon Ithan says that the pathetics, they try to use the scriptures to combat our own history, right? We say that we're the children of God. We say that Deuteronomy 28 is basically the roadmap back to our identity, because our identity to this day has yet to be fully acknowledged. African American is not an actual identity. Negro is not an actual identity. Black is not an actual identity. Colored is not an actual identity. And we all know from historical fact that we're not African. So if black people are trying to figure out, I mean, since the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, black people have been trying to get some sort of racial pride, some sort of identity. Why? Because, I mean, Caucasians have racial pride. Japanese have racial pride. Chinese have racial pride. East Indians have racial pride. Arabs have racial pride. But black people, they don't. So when we find it and it's in this Bible and it's like, oh, snap, we believe that this Bible is talking about our history. We believe that this Bible is talking about us. We believe that we are the children of God based on certain scriptures. Can we get Acts 5:38?
Yes, sir. The book of Acts chapter 5, verse 38. And now I say unto you, refrain from these men, and let them alone. For if this counsel of this work be of men, it will come to naught.
So if the things that we have been doing all of these years, if it is not of men, it's going to fall apart. Just like the Black Panthers fell apart. Just like Marcus Garvey's movement fell apart. Just like the civil rights movement fell apart. And, you know, all of those movements were used in order to get us to the point to where we're at now, but they all fell apart eventually because they weren't backed by the Most High God. They weren't backed by the law, statutes, and commandments. And the prophets knew this. Matter of fact, these are the Pharisees that are saying this about the disciples.
And to your point, why don't these fake apologetics, these racist cultists, why don't they go after the Nation of Islam? Why don't they go after what is those guys that the guys with the black suits and the M16s? What are they called?
Oh, the Not Effing Around Coalition.
Why don't they go after them? Why don't they go to these other? Because they're not a threat.
Yep.
They know that we, with this Bible, nonviolent. We are nonviolent, faith-based, organized nation who promote community cleanups, promote marriage, promote nation time, youth programs. We promote all these different things. We're a threat. And what's going to happen is, I got to read one scripture real quick, and this is just for all y'all to build your faith. If y'all think that what this man has done is not going to go unchecked, you need to be strengthened with this Bible verse. Give me Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1, and we're going to jump to verse 21. When you look at history, you can go back to different parts of the earth. When Esau took Hawaii, when Esau took different parts of the earth, he did it through bloodshed. When the English took India, you go back to that. When they attacked China, they've always pillaged and looted all nations of color. Mm-hmm. In particular, with the 12 tribes of Israel, with our enslavement, with the transatlantic slave trade and the sub-Saharan slave trade, and all the subsequent terroristic genocidal acts that this man has done. You think, and he has never paid for any of these crimes. There might have been some individual retaliation from this family, maybe to, or like Nat Turner had a little bit of an uprising. We had Tucson the Overture. We had certain prominent, small little skirmishes that we rose up. But they have never have paid as a nation of people. And this is what the Lord is not going to forget about you. Read 14 verse 1.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob.
Because right now, when you look around, it doesn't seem like the Lord going to have mercy with us. Read.
And will yet choose Israel.
And yes, he's going to choose us. And that's the reason why it bothers these apologetics cultists. Because the Lord never chose you. He didn't choose you and your people. He let your people rule with the sword and rule unjustly, but he never chose you, and that bothers you. Read.
And set them in their own land.
And yes, we are in South America, Central America, and all throughout the four corners. We are not in our own land. So that prophecy is true. The fake Jewish folks are in our land. So that is true. Read on.
And the strangers shall be joined with them.
Now, watch this. I want you to jump to verse 20 and 21.
Verse 20. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast...
21.
Verse 21. Prepare slaughter for his children.
So when you go to the whole chapter, it's talking about Babylon, right? Get verse 9. Is it verse 9? I'm going to look at it real quick. I gotta go to this point. I want to see real quick. It says, nope. Yes, verse 4. Yes.
Verse 4. that thou shalt take up this proverb against the kings of Babylon, and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased.
Now, this is talking about Babylon the Great. This is what this is talking about. Yes, and the scriptures are twofold. A lot of times they can be talking about different eras. Like the curses of the Bible are not just for the time when we came out of Egypt. The curses of the Bible happened in the Assyrian captivity, which came way after Egypt. It happened in Persia Mede, Babylon, Persia Mede, Greeks. During all the times throughout the 12, and even today, they still come to pass. And the proof is go to Baltimore. Go to Philadelphia. Go, hey, where you get the drugs at? Then you're going to see the 12 tribes of Israel. Read on.
Verse 5. The Lord had broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He was...
Hold on, let me see. No, I'm sorry. I told you the wrong verse. Jump to verse 13. Watch this.
Verse 13. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God.
And you can read in Obadiah, that's what he's done. He set up space stations. He set up all types of stars. What do they call them? Space stations, satellites rather. Pardon me, satellites. It's been a long day. Satellites. And these different space stations, that's how you have global satellite monitoring, GPS and all these. That's how you have that. If the satellites come down, there is no GPS. There was no GPS in the 70s, okay? As they started to set up more space stations and satellites, that's how you have the things that Esau has set up. Read on.
I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation.
And that's what he's done, and that's why he tries. He knows that his rulership is coming to naught. That's why they send cultist, racist organizations like the Apologetics, who hate the 12 tribes of Israel. And they set up propaganda campaigns to debunk the one truth that God gave our people. And guess what? Only thing you're going to do is make more black people repent. So keep doing what you're doing. You devil, you deceiving, you demon. Read.
And the sides of the north, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds.
The sides of the north is talking about predominantly North America, but the 12 tribes are throughout the world. Read on.
I will be like the Most High.
And that's why you, in your simple history, you have painted all of the images of Christ as a white man, the angels as a white man, God as a white man. And we know, and most of the world knows that's not damn true. That's why you want to be Zorro. That's why you want to be doggone, you want to be, what's the man? You want to be Bass Reeves. Who was that? Zorro? Bass Reeves, the Lone Ranger. You want to be the Lone Ranger, who is a black man. You want to be the Temptations. Try to put you wouldn't let them sell the album. Or is it the Four Tops? Five heartbeats. Okay, and it's over and over again. You want to claim their history. You want to be the Egyptians in the movie The Ten Commandments. You crazy as hell. You want to be everything, and you want to take everything, but the Lord is going to take from you. And that's what you're scared of. You're afraid. And the Lord going to pull your card. So keep doing this evil. This hatred to our people. The Lord is going to use your evil for good. Go ahead, Mickey. I know you got to say something.
Hey, can we get Luke 21 and 15 real quick? Because this guy that shall remain nameless, because it ain't worth calling his name. Loser. Luke 21 and 5. This is him. 15. Luke 21, 15. This is him all day long.
Yes, sir. The book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 15. For I will bring you a mouth and, For I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist.
He can't debunk it. Even the so-called Christian pastors that got their doctrine from him and his ancestors openly said that they can't debunk what the Israelites say, but they can't resist it. Neither can vocab alone debunk what we're saying because it's the truth. And he can't resist it. So he's going to keep trying and keep failing because he is a failure. And I know I said I wasn't going to say his name, and I said it. But, oh, well, whatever. Who cares? He's a loser anyway.
He is 100%, and he is going to be slaughtered by God because God has a punishment. You reap what you sow. Your nation is pillaged, destroyed, slandered, defamed, and stolen the identity of an entire nation of people God says you got to pay. Read verse 21, Isaiah 14:21.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 21.
You listen good. You brothers and sisters, you hold fast to this. Don't you think that your God is an unjust God? He has been hard on the 12 tribes of Israel. But God is a just God. He is a loving and he's a just God. Read.
Prepare slaughter for his children.
Why?
For the iniquity of their fathers.
They ain't never paid for slavery. They have a thing called old money. Old money is the benefactories of insurance policies. All that old money from the Industrial Revolution, which we made possible through the mass textile production that we got from our raw picking of cotton over the years, and many of our forefathers invented many of the advancements in textile production and raw material production like cotton and other things. We created this empire for them, and they've never paid for the crimes that they've done. That's why they're trying to call it forced migration. Okay, you can't hide what your evil forefathers have done. You're going to pay for it. You're going to pay not because we said so. We're going to sit back. We're going to keep the commandments. We're going to keep the laws of this land. We're going to keep marrying our wives. We're going to clean the community up physically and spiritually. We're going to create youth programs. We're going to show order. We're not a hate group, but our God is going to fight for us, and he's going to punish y'all. The God of Israel going to deal with y'all, not us. Our Father going to fight for us. His son going to come back, and y'all in some big trouble. Right. And you scared. That's why you run in your mouth, because you're afraid.
Hey, critical race theory. That's why they're bringing that into existence, saying that their history makes them feel bad, so we can't talk about it. We can't talk about the fact that y'all hung us from trees. We can't talk about the fact that y'all pulled us apart with horses. Or even in 1989, you drug us behind the truck until our head popped off in Jasper, Texas, because it makes you feel bad. The hell with your feelings. We're going to bring out this truth.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Read that again. This is a faith, and this is why when you think about, and that's why I feel truly sorry for some of our people that feel that they have a serious case of Stockholm syndrome. So you'll see things like black men who will be supporting their own oppressors. Like there's two black folks that were sitting in the front row at that racist cultist apologetic cult leader that teaches white supremacy and through indoctrination and subversing of the truth and trying to delineate people from the path of truth. That he's got to pay for that with God. Read.
Prepare slaughter for his children.
And guess what? You might not have owned a slave yourself. That don't mean a damn thing. Just like when our forefathers was born in 1788, and that child didn't do a damn thing to deserve a life of misery and slavery, they had to pay, did they not? You didn't have no slaves, did you? No. You're going to pay for what your great-great-grandfather did. You're going to pay. You're going to pay, and I know it worries you, but you keep making them videos. You watch what the Lord going to do with your little flunky tack. The Lord going to use you, you deceiver, you master of deception. Read.
For the iniquity of their fathers.
You got to pay for the Dutch, German, Caucasian, Russian Caucasian. You got to pay your nation, the nation of Esau, and all you're gonna pay. This is not racic rhetoric. This is a truth, a redemption speech that I'm giving. Read it again.
Prepare slaughter for his children.
You got to pay for what your poppies and them did. Read on.
For the iniquity of their fathers.
You got to pay for what your fathers did, just like we had to pay. We had to pay. You gonna pay, but your payment is gonna be forever. Read.
That they do not rise.
You ain't never going to rise again. The 12 tribes, that movie, The Planet of the Apes, you let us know something. You let us know something that movie. You let us know something with that movie. You did. Yep. Okay? All right, I'm done with that. I know we got some more stuff. What time is it, Dan? It's flying by. You had something. We always run out of time.
Hey, it is what it is, Cal.
Pull
we got
that
a lot
thing.
of stuff.
You got two people committed the same exact crime.
Yeah.
I saw that. Who had that article?
Number 6.
Number 6. This here's an example.
2 people committed the same exact crime.
Hey, real quick, it's on my mind. All y'all Jasons out there, y'all fate gonna end up just like Jason. All y'all Jasons that call yourself apologetics, all y'all Jasons, y'all gonna pay too.
That's
The
right.
Most High gonna, all praise to the Most High.
All right. Number six. All right. So we got Lupe Fiasco cousin and we got Karen. All right. So let's see. Let's read this article.
2 people commit the same crime. One gets 20 years in prison, the other 5-year probation.
Whoa.
Same crime, very different punishments.
Whoa. One dude got 20 years. She got 5 years. 5 years?
Oh, so we got to read
probation.
Maybe the brother got 5 years probation.
Hey, I mean, you know what? You might be right. Let's see, because I don't want to judge before I read.
I doubt it.
Buffalo, New York, WKBW. In separate cases in different parts of the state, Khalik DeBerry and Marla Finner sold fatal doses of fentanyl.
Now, those of y'all who don't know, and those of y'all who may still be using, stop that. Fentanyl has a high mortality rate. Leave that stuff alone. When people are dying of pill overdoses, fentanyl is one of the biggest culprits behind it. Leave that stuff alone.
Isn't that what they're using in place of heroin?
Yes. My uncle died from it.
One got a 20-year prison sentence. The other received 5 years of probation. I think these 2 cases are not examples of anything other than the facts. The facts and the law being applied correctly. Penny Wolfgang.
Honorable Penny Wolfgang.
Penny Wolfgang. A retired state Supreme Court justice said.
So they basically saying that this is how the law is supposed to be.
But they did the same exact crime.
Yeah.
But that's how the law is supposed to be. Somebody gets 20 years in prison.
Yeah.
But the other one gets a 5-year probation.
Yeah, that's how the law is supposed to be.
And,
Remember
and notice real quick, it does say, and the facts are that they both sold. Sold means that you actually was a transference of something of value for that drug. So fentanyl is a serious, it's not like marijuana, right? Fentanyl is a very serious, and you're going to see that this is something that, this is why the name of the show is Your Enemies Don't, what was the name of the show, Mika? You put the meme together.
Our lives have no value to our enemies.
No value. So when this honorable judge says that, what do you mean? Black people, you don't have value. You're denizens. We don't. This good white Christian woman, the law is for her. Yep. And so we're surprised when we see stuff like this, but the Lord said this was going to happen to us. And it's a shame that we got to read about this, but
yeah, he's a career criminal, and she has an issue that can be resolved with different programs. Let's go back to the article.
So why such a disparity between the 2 sentences if the crime was the same? The reason, federal versus state courts. Khalik DeBerry, 40, Buffalo, was charged with distribution of fentanyl causing death in a federal court.
So I'm going to let you know something. When you got federal charges, okay, you have a federal crime, you go to a federal court. The district attorney determines whether you go to federal or state court.
The state can drop it, and the feds can pick it up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because a federal charge gets federal court. The state can give you time, and the feds can give you time.
The fed out Trump state.
So it's not like, oh, well, this was done at the state level, so the feds have no No. They have jurisdiction everywhere. Go back to the article.
In some instances, officer, you'll see the state will drop it. They'll say, we don't want to do it. The feds say, no. If you beat the state charge, you still got to deal with the feds.
That's more than likely what happened with Khalik.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
It was the drugs that the individual distributed that resulted in the death, U.S. Attorney James P. Kennedy Jr. said. That requires a mandatory minimum sentence of 20 years.
Mandatory minimums. and life without parole. Go ahead, Marla Fenner.
Marla Fenner, 27, Geneva, a first-time offender, traded fentanyl for 2 yogurts and an apple juice.
Wow.
You know, number one, that's a bunch of bull. They 2 yogurt. You got it. This is a 27-year-old woman is gonna. You see how they everything is to make her seem like she is so innocent, so innocent,
because
so
the
very innocent.
The yogurt and the apple juice for her child.
Right.
For her child. He on the other hand, he was a
So
hardened,
she's stupid as hell because fentanyl is worth a lot more than 2 yogurts and an apple.
Yes.
Fentanyl is worth a whole lot of money in the street value. I would imagine if you're going to jail for a minute, if someone dies and it's that strong, that means it's worth a lot of money in the street. That's $5 worth of 2 yogurts and an apple. See how they cover their own.
Cap. 1 crack rock at one point in time was 10 years. But it was a minimum of 5 if you had 1 rock on you. You better plead user, because if you was a distributor, that was like 15, 20 years right there. Ecstasy used to be a attempted murder charge. So anywhere from 10 to 20 years per pill that you got. Fentanyl is up there with all the rest of that stuff. If it's a mandatory minimum 20 years,
who walks around? I'm picturing, like Cap said, with 2 loose Twix yogurts with apple. Who the hell just walks around with that? I got these
Nobody.
2 yogurts for this fentanyl. What kind of drug dealer is that?
They don't.
Nobody.
They don't. Go back to the article. Watch this.
You can't make this
But because
stuff up.
she's white and they show you that picture, including black people, oh, it's just her. And our minds just go to make excuse for the masters, Becky.
Yep. Why I went all the way back to the picture?
2 yogurts.
I don't need to see that dog. All right.
That's all our intelligence.
Go ahead. The person.
That person later died from an overdose. The key to her case is that she was charged with 3rd-degree criminal sale of a controlled substance in state court.
So, oh my goodness.
3rd-degree sale because he traded.
You know that's what the lawyer made the plea deal on.
Mm-hmm.
Plead guilty to 3rd-degree sale of this.
That's how we know it's the kingdom, because you have the prosecutor. So here's the thing. So they accepted it. Was that the state court they accepted it at?
Yes.
So then she didn't get federal charges.
Nope.
So that means the federal agent saw, oh, it's a white woman. They did a plea deal for the state. She got okay, leave her alone. She's got a future. So why didn't the federal charge, whether it's a yogurt or $800, why didn't they try her in the federal level? And she should have got 20 years because that's the minimum sentence, right?
Yeah.
It just shows you that they value their life, and your enemies don't value you. You're nothing to them. They don't care about it. That's why we have to be blameless.
Yep.
We cannot, like Officer Matt, we cannot use drugs because they're going to make laws. They make laws to box you in and put you under the jail. She's got 5 years probation. She probably will do 3 years good serve and not spend a day in jail. He's going to go to jail for 20 years. He might not even get parole. Look, this man's life is over. He's going to get out when he's 60 years old. It's the same crime. She sold fentanyl. She was guilty, and both people died in both cases.
Hey, and Cap.
Wait, hold up. How the hell, in both cases, it was something of value. One was money. One was 2 yogurts in it. You see how Esau do it? And one, he gets a federal charge brought up in him. She, because she's white, she gets the lesser charge of a state deal. The Fed should have said, someone still died. This is fentanyl. Okay, you did that. We're throwing the book at her. It just goes to show you. And it's not Nevada and New York. It's 2 parts of the same state of New York. It's the same, and that's the state. But the federal, if I'm in Buffalo, New York, and you in, let's say, Rochester, they're both at the state level of New York. But the federal would be the same in either New York city.
Yep.
You got it, man. This is amazing. Y'all got to see this.
What I was going to point out, they never said how much the guy sold. They never said whether he had 100 pills on him, and, they never said that. They just said that he was selling and somebody overdosed because of it. You know what I'm saying? That's what Cap is saying. Go back to Romans 13 real quick and read verse 13. We got to understand, like, this lifestyle that we chasing, that we see on TV, that we done watched in movies and Paid in Full and Juice and Boys in the Hood and all of these different things, you know, American Gangster and Frank Lucas and all of them, that stuff ain't real. Those people, yeah, Frank Lucas, he really lived, but guess what? That dude at his old age regretted everything that he did. We need to stop this.
Hey,
being a criminal is not cool.
Listen to this. I'm going to show you how this damn Esau is the damn devil. In the first paragraph, it says Buffalo, New York, WKPW. In separate cases in different parts of the state, Carlique DeBerry and Marla Fenner sold fatal doses of fentanyl. Remember that, right? Now we scroll down. Watch this. We first talked about the brother. Was charged with distribution of fentanyl causing death. Now watch this. When it goes on to Marla Fenner, it says Marla Fenner, 27, a first-time offender, traded fentanyl for 2 years. You see how they automatically starting to deprogram us and seeing white is right, white is good, she's of value. So you saying that now she traded or did she sell? But you start off by saying that she sold it. So what they do is they lie and they change things, just like they did with the Native American Indians. They make a treaty and then they go back on it. These laws do not apply for them. The reason why they make lesser charges is so they can give white people probation and throw the book at your black ass. And the reality is, if we don't keep the commandments, you're going to continue to suffer like this. That's why Mark Reiser, that racist cult deceiver who hates black people, that's why he'll have you not wanting to believe Deuteronomy 28, because when you link back to the curses, you realize that we are the real Jews. We are and you're going to want us. Now the laws have value. Now you say, those are my laws. I need to keep these laws because it will protect me. You're my enemy, you demon. Because you're an enemy, if I keep the commandments, one day you're going to go into change because of what you did. It's going to protect me and make me not a terror to the rulers in this society. Without that, you're right back in the club. You're right back into committing adultery. You're right back to doing all kind of drinking and drugs, using all these drugs, and you don't value yourself because you don't see yourself as the righteous people. That's why he hates our people. And I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of the way he talks smooth and he sounds educated, the Lord is going to deal with this guy. And the way he's going to do it, he's going to use him to bring a whole lot of people into this truth. You mark my words. This guy right here, it's a special type of deceiver, a racist cult leader who pushes white supremacy doctrine on our people. Okay, it's not going to work. The Lord going to deal with you on his own special terms. And we're going to sit back and keep the commandments, keep taking care of our wives, keep taking care of our children, okay, cleaning up the community spiritually and physically, going out there, advocating, getting on radio stations, doing everything we do, our global ministry. Okay, we're going to be out there doing the things non-violently, okay, changing people's lives, supporting the black family, the structure, husband, wife, children, in subjection to the laws of God, a nucleus family who strives and does positive things and who are pillars of the community. And that's why you hate it. You hate it. But the Lord going to reveal it. You're going to reveal it. He's going to use you to help us.
You're right, Cap, because it's crazy how I've never seen the apologetics go and address the drug problem, the drug selling, the murder. I mean, there's like 5 murders a day in New Orleans. I don't never see the apologetics come down here and say anything about that. They never say anything about, the crime or, the violence or police brutality. None of that stuff. I never hear them talk about any of that stuff, but they talk about us all day, every day. How to come against the Israelites.
They should be brought up on federal charges for pushing that crack that they trying to redistribute.
Right. Hey, Romans 13:13 real quick.
Yes, sir. Romans chapter 13, verse 13. Let us walk honestly as in the day.
That's why we have to walk honestly. It's not good to be a criminal. They're already going to paint us in that light as is. So we need to walk honestly. Read on.
Not in rioting and drunkenness.
Rioting and drunkenness. All this partying and over drinking. It's not good. Read.
Not in chambering and wantonness.
Chambering, I had to look this up. Me and my wife was reading our 4 chapters last night. I had to look this up. Chambering is illicit sexual activity, and wantonness is lust. All them Instagram things, and that's how a lot of these sisters be getting kidnapped off of Instagram. And y'all tagging y'all locations, and dudes ain't doing nothing but watching your Instagram, following you, and snatching you up. Read.
Not in strife and envying.
Not in strife and envy. These are the things that we are trying to eliminate from our community. These are the things that we're trying to address so that our community, they can be looked at in the eyes of God as law-abiding citizens, his law-abiding citizens. Guess what? If we keep his law, then we're good in his eyes, which makes us good in the eyes of our oppressor. Like he said in the scriptures, that those that I'm paraphrasing, I'm going to butcher it, but those that keep the law, he make it even his enemies to be at peace with him. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yep. That's why right now we need the peace, because right now he's holding them back. But in a minute, they're going to start to touch us because of what we're teaching. We're teaching a black man to come up out of homosexuality. We're teaching a black woman to start honoring her husband, to get married, keep her legs closed, to be a princess of the Most High God.
Put some damn clothes on and cover your rump and cover your breast up. And because of that, you want to see our sisters are defiling themselves. Real quick, I'm going to show you the last video. We're running out of time. So I want to show you, let's show the video. You already got it up. So I don't know if you recall, our brothers went to, I think it was Tijuana. There was a time when a lot of brothers and sisters were coming from Haiti and other parts of the Caribbean trying to seek refuge because they come from war-torn and poverty-stricken places seeking a place of refuge, safety. And this is the way that many of them were met by, now let me say this. There are probably very many good people that work on the Border Patrol. It's just like there's probably a lot of good police and good firefighters. We're not bashing Border Patrol. What we're showing you is that they're being told to deal with certain people a certain way and another. So we're not going to bash, some of our brothers were police officers. Some of our brothers are military guys. But the reality is these are the facts, all right? So we're going to show you this video, and then I'm going to show you a recent video of 2022 in the way that other refugees are being treated. And let's see if we can see a disparity between the two. Press play.
House condemned U.S. Border Patrol agents on Monday who were seen using a whip-like cord to block Haitian migrants carrying supplies into the U.S. from Mexico. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said she had seen some of the footage, calling it unacceptable.
We just saw this footage. It's horrible to watch. I just have to get more information on it. I can't imagine what the scenario is where that would be appropriate. I'm certainly not suggesting that, but we've just seen the footage earlier this morning.
Reuters drone footage captured hundreds
so
of mostly
if you
Haitian
look here,
migrants
right,
crossing.
So they're risking their life trying to cross that. That looks like a like an intercoastal waterway here in New Orleans. And it's obviously, I don't know if it's 5 feet deep. I'm not sure how deep it is, but they're crossing over because they're trying to get away from a place where there's no hope to try to get to the United States where they believe that hope awaits them. Okay, so that's the way many of our brothers from Haiti, the tribe of Levi, were being treated. And there's other things that some of them died. Some of them died of starvation and fatigue and exhaustion. And they were treated very terribly. And that has been happening for many years to our brothers and sisters from Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Panama, and South America who try to get here as well. Now, let's go to the article number, is it 5, video number 6, something like that? So now the title of this is called "The U.S. Welcomes Ukrainians at the Border, uses Title 42 as a political tool to block other," and the other, what they really want to say is other dark people, but they're not going to say that. So let's play from the beginning, and it's only about a couple of minutes, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Don't worry about the timestamp. So check this out. So why is this important? It goes back to the fact that our enemies, they don't value our lives. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 28. Deuteronomy chapter 28. And this is why we know these curses are real. We can look at this video, and we're going to see the curses play out before our eyes. Let me see real quick. Oh gosh. I know, but I was looking for this one particular. Oh man, I just had it in my head. Read verse 19. That's not what I wanted, but I'm gonna read this.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 19. Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out.
Now this happens to everywhere we go. So when a lot of these refugees get into America, they think that they came into something good. They're cursed. A lot of them, when they some of them get kicked out and they go back home. There's always these curses that follow us. And this, I'm gonna get it. It's oh gosh, let's see. Is it 25? I think that's it. Let me see that. Yes, 25. That's very good. Yes.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 25. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies.
So we have two different groups of refugees. Why is one being smitten before their enemies and the other not being smitten before their enemies? Read on.
Thou shalt go out one way against them.
Well, the reason why is because when the Ukrainians come, that's not their enemies. That's their brother. They love them. They have value. They have real feelings. You brown people, you don't have feelings. Right, these are civilized people from the Ukraine. Read on.
And flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth.
And that's why we were sold into slavery. In all the kingdoms of the earth, we suffer. From India to Russia to South Central and North America, we suffer. Now, let's play that video if we have that. We're not going to play the whole thing.
Where Border Patrol officers have arrested over 1 million asylum seekers in the past 6 months, a record number in at least 20 years. That comes as many are fleeing.
It said in the last 6 months, they have arrested 1 million in the last 6 months. Now, you might think because they scrolled the camera to these good Christian Ukrainians, right? Are they the one that is being arrested? Let's play on.
And political crises, horrific violence, the impacts of the climate emergency in Haiti and Cuba and Central and South America and Africa. Since Russia's invasion of Ukraine in late February, thousands of Ukrainian refugees have also trekked to the U.S.-Mexico border in search of safety. U.S. border officials have processed nearly 10,000 Ukrainians in the past 2 months, most at ports of entry. Hundreds of Ukrainians camped out in the border city of Tijuana, Mexico earlier this month, hoping to be allowed into the United States.
I couldn't cry in Ukraine. I didn't cry in Ukraine at all. I thank you even for my tears. I thank you for this place, for this food, and for our dream to give him a little bit calmer life until the victory. When the victory comes, we will go the same day.
Now pause real quick. So that what they want you to do is, in the media, they assign value. Here's a white woman. They show you all these positive pictures. They show you commotion. They show you order, the food. Everyone's calm and everybody's is orderly and just in the right spirit, so to speak. Then they take you to the white woman. Now they can get into the deep part of your psyche. Oh, she looks like Aunt Mildred. She looks like her. Then they begin to say, these people are. And that weighs on the mind of these people. And that's why they start processing those Caucasian Ukrainians while our brothers stand by. And it's going to show on, play on.
We will go the same day to Ukraine.
Little by little, the camp started being formed because this is going to go on for a long time. As long as the war continues, and as long as there is no direct connection from Europe to the United States for the Ukrainians, they will continue to arrive here in Tijuana. They will have to depend on the charity and generosity of the people of Tijuana.
In addition to the camp at the border, Ukrainian refugees are also staying at a shelter in Tijuana.
I'm really surprised about how people have been helping us here. The conditions of the shelter are perfect. The most impressive thing is how Mexican and American people are trying to help us, and how everybody wants to offer us assistance somehow.
Immigrant justice advocates have welcomed efforts to process Ukrainian refugees at the border, but are condemning the U.S. government's hypocrisy as it brutalizes and criminalizes Black, Indigenous, and other asylum seekers who don't come from white European nations.
Now,
Many have waited.
Pause. And it's good that the white woman told you that, because now we're going to see an account with you're going to see a brother from one of the Spanish-speaking countries. He's going to come on and give his account. The point is that we've seen the way that our brothers, the 12 tribes from these different Caribbean islands and these different South and Central American countries are being treated. It's right in your face. It's right here. These curses, this is how we know we the Israelites. How come this ain't happened to the Ukrainians? They come right over, they're going to be processed. Okay, the same thing even with the Afghans, when they came over here. Was it the Pakistanis or the Afghanians? They're not the 12 tribes of Israel. They came in, they had hotel rooms. They had buses and hotel rooms waiting for them with all types of accommodations. Okay, vouchers. Our people, let's play on. Let's see what our brothers got to go through.
Months, even years, to be processed for asylum at a U.S. port of entry, forced to wait in Mexico, often in very dangerous conditions. This is a Honduran asylum seeker at a shelter in Tijuana, Mexico.
They got a war. We got worse than war.
Pause, hold up. Let's just look at the background. Let's look at the background, because now, remember, the Ukrainians just came within, we had the radio show. Before the war started, we were doing a radio a couple months ago. They were already over here, and they've been processed over 10,000 of them already. You saw that they showed the way that their camps were set up, right? They were eating nicely fine sliced carrots with their corned beef, and everybody looked great. And we've been treated. Looked like a senator of California sitting there speaking to, he has value. Now they show you this brother, and we look in the background, we see some metal building, we see some looks like tents that are set up. It looks just the conditions are more dire for our people. Okay.
Yeah. When the Ukrainian was talking, he said he was surprised how they was helping. It was a white background. The shelter, the tent was white. It looked wholesome. You get to the Honduran dude, he looked like he living in a tent with, like he got a tent in the background, but they over a tin thing, where that right there is not as upkept as where Esau was just now.
Oh, so I'm from the country. That's a hot ass tin building.
Yeah,
I'm telling you straight. That stuff gets hot. It draws heat.
Yeah. See,
he had breathable stuff like that.
Esau had breathable plastic.
Yeah, that's tin. That's hot.
That right there is a metal building that's going to keep heat inside of it. They're going to be baking. The dude he said, this is terrible. This is horrible. We getting the worst.
Play on.
Rewind a little bit. Just a little right there.
They got a war. We got worse than war in Central America. And they have a war from February to this time. We got a war there with these gangs, about 15, 20 years.
Now pause
behind.
real quick. And the destabilization of these Central American countries, when you go back, we've done shows on it. It dates back to places like the Boston Fruit Company, the United Fruit Company, where they destabilized and pushed industry. They would set up these cartels. They created these things to destabilize the whole governments. They'd set up puppet governments, and with Panama, they created a false breach of security. They sent the U.S. military in, the Panama Deception. You could watch that on YouTube. They create the destabilization in the Central. And when they create that, why? So they can rob them of their resources, control the waterway, the Panama Canal, which is the most powerful waterway in the world that connects the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean. You do all of that. Now you create the cartels. You create hostage ransoms and all these different horrible things where the Mexican government, the cartel, the police fear. They made movies. They fear these cartels. These people are running. He says it's worse than the war in Russia. They have to deal with the wars. They deal with poverty. They deal with all these things, and they've been waiting for 15, some 20 years, these people. The Ukraine, these are curses. These are real. And for us to see that, to not think that we're not the Israelites, this is how we know you can't deny this. Look at your screen. Look at what the brother's going through. Look at his listen to his voice on the other end.
Hey, and Cap, the asylum that he's been trying to seek, that's why he said there's stuff worse going on in Honduras than what's going on in the Ukraine.
Right.
Because asylum was first made for those that were living in war-torn countries and gang-infested countries, because the cartels take over everything. They force people to work for them. They kill off their families. So the asylum law was made so that people could come to America because of that very reason. Now, what he's saying is his condition is worse than the Ukrainians' condition, but they letting them in first before him. And
Exactly.
he's living in squalor.
Exactly. And the amazing thing about it is it's going to continue to happen. They even the white woman told you that is a disparity. It's going to continue to happen. Nothing is going to change. Even when Esau will tell, look, these guys, watchdog agencies, they're doing the wrong thing. It doesn't matter. You're cursed. Cursed shall there be in the city. Cursed shall be that in the field. Cursed shall be thy basket in store. We are the Israelites. The Hondurans are the Israelites. The Mexicans, the Haitians, they're the Israelites. The Ukrainians, they're Caucasians. A lot of what we saw there, they're not a lot of those Ukrainians, they said they're all different races. Why do we see the white Ukrainians in those pictures? Because they're not the people of God. They're not cursed. They will be blessed. Those are their brothers looking out for them. It's how you know who we are. So this is just depressing, but it shows us that we are not valued by our lives, are not valued by our enemies. And we've showed you time. We had a whole bunch of information about prison populations and how there's a lot more that we could do. We might do a part 2 next week, Lord's will. Life lasts. But we way over now. Wow. We got to sign straight out. So look, Israel, thank you for joining us. Another edition of Precept Upon Precept. We're running about 20 minutes behind. All praise to the Lord. I hope you got something out of tonight's show. Listen, y'all keep the faith. Hold on. Hold on. We got a little pause. All right, so look, with that, join us again next week, Precept Upon Precept. And with that, brothers and sisters, we say shalom.
Shalom.
You listening to Precept on Precept. Captain Shim break it down to no meat left. Line upon line in the word, make you respect. History collegiate when we teach it, brains reset. You listening to Precept on Precept. Captain Shim break it down to no meat left.